Welcome to this new series called Best Albums Released This Week, and we're starting off with the grandfather of rock, Iggy Pop, and his new album called Every Loser. Iggy Pop's been described as the grandfather of punk, and he's been a legendary figure in the music world now for over 5 decades. He's been known for his raw energy, provocative stage antics, and boundary-pushing lyrics. He fronted the Stooges and later had a successful solo career with classic albums such as The Idiot and Lust for Life. He continues to tour and record to this day, proving that he's still the wild man of rock and roll. And his latest album was released on the 6th of January 2023 and is called Every Loser. Today we're going to deep dive into the album, have a look at the tracks and give an overview of exactly how good it is. Let's get into it. So the opening track on the album is called Frenzy. The first thing to notice about all of these tracks is that there are 11 on the album in total, and the album only lasts for 36 minutes, so they're all of this 3-minute ilk there or thereabouts. It's hard-hitting, it's all action at opening, it gets straight for the jugular. Iggy has some interesting words here to rhyme to. There's a strong bass and drums, and there's a demonic style lead guitar. It's really quite energetic and full of frenzy. The chorus itself lends itself to form an anthem or a war cry that you could imagine many fans shouting at him in the concerts. It's 2020's punk at its best. The second track is called Strung Out Johnny. Now this one, it sounds a little bit like The Killers. There's more of a new order bass line to it. It's quite a really rich, deep bass going on all the song. It shows off Iggy Pop's best parts of his singing style. You get the rich volume of his voice coming through. It's really good. It's about starting out and taking drugs, and it's a good track. There's a balance of keyboard, the bass and the drums. The third track is called New Atlantis. This is a slower track, it's more melodic, and if that is possible with Iggy Pop. It's all about his favourite town called Miami, and also a reference to the Donovan song from all those years ago called Atlantis. Spoken interludes in there, and he does sound very much like Johnny Cash, which is a bit bizarre. But it's a good old-fashioned rock song, there's no two ways about that. There's a really catchy chorus, and it's soon as he's singing along, the lead guitar complements his vocal style. It's Andrew Watt who provides the lead guitar on this one, and he helps to produce and write quite a lot of this album with Iggy. It's certainly the best track on the album up to this point. Track 4 is called Modern Day Rip-Off. We go back to this wild, frenzied sound again. Watt is very energetic on the lead guitar here. In his notes, Iggy says that Watt has too much energy and demands more from him all of the time. So he wrote a number of bitchy lyrics basically because he was quite peed off with it all. He continues, it's a middle-aged white guy complaining thing, but it's very tongue-in-cheek, and that really sums up this track indeed. It's amusing to listen to. Sounds like Alice Cooper, except for his scary cat-like calls during the solo. Track 5 is called Morning Show. This is a calm and deep Johnny Cash-like vocals again, and probably one of the only ballads on the album. There's a Rolling Stones feel to it. It's about being depressed and feeling down, another cheerful subject. There's no specific reason to what the morning show is, but you imagine that it's getting up the enthusiasm to perform in any capacity by this ageing performer. Track 6 is called The News for Andy. Now this is a short and amusing interlude track, and it's based on a conversation that Andy Warhol had with Iggy Pop about him reading the papers more to get a feel of what's going on. So, with that in mind, Pop picked up the local free newspapers that were hanging around in the studio, and he basically wrote lyrics about 3 of the adverts that were in that paper. It's very amusing, spoken rather than sung. Provides a nice interlude for the album. Track 7 is called Neo-Punk. The calm is smashed to pieces once again. It's all action and energy. It's short and sweet. It's not meant to be taken seriously, but there's some really cringe-worthy lyrics in there. Track 8 is called All the Way Down. Now, this is a strong guitar-led track. Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam plays on this one. He does a cracking guitar solo. It's based on some footage that was posted about Pop from one of the band, where it shows Pop being in quite a destructive mode, and he thought he'd write a song about this, and he would complain about it later on. It's a really good track, and this then takes the mantle of the best track on the album thus far. Track 9 is called Comments, and boy, if Billy Idol was back in his 80s heyday, he would be absolutely screaming for this song. It would fit him down to the ground. Heavy bass opening, upbeat rhythms. It's all about his reactions to comments placed on social media. There's references to Zuckerberg and to Elon Musk. It's all about there being no middle ground in this social media world. Things are either very, very good, you praise to the hilt, or they're very, very bad, and you are cast aside as the worst things in the history of the world. It's quite a lonely vibe to it. It's got the best radio feel to it. And, I don't know if it was released as a single or was potentially going to be released as a single, but it would fit the criteria for radio. And Taylor Hawkins played the drums on this one. It would be one of his last sessions that he did for anybody before he sadly passed. Track 10 is My Animus. It's another interlude track. Much an Iggy Pop mission statement. It's a short piece. It's a statement about his motivation, and that music is his belief, and he has a pride in his work, whether it be a success or a failure. Simple as that. Final track on the album is called The Regency. Taylor Hawkins played drums on this one, and it's the longest track on the album. There's quite a gentle opening to it before it all explodes again, and it's got a real heavy rocking feel to it before once again it stops to go back to that soulful opening. Iggy says it's the interaction between banks, the parking business, and the stadium business, with the real money being spent in the parking lot business. I couldn't see this myself from the lyrics. It's a really strong end to the album if you accept the number of F-bombs that are actually dropped in this particular track. So what do we think overall? We've said that it's a shortish album, a lot of F-bombs in there, there's a lot of swearing. You probably expect that from Iggy Pop, because he's 75-year-old, and on this album he acts like himself. It's loud and it's leery. Watts' production is an absolute joy, and it lifts the album into probably uncharted territory for Iggy Pop. It really allows him to throw away the late career rule book, if there is such a thing. Everybody has this vision of how aging rock stars should act. Well, that's out the window. Pop does it his own way. You wouldn't expect any less than that. It does rank as one of the best solo albums of his career. In all the musical reviews, critically it's come out in a very strong manner, and I can see why. It's a damn decent album. The lyrics are often a little clumsy, but they do sparkle in their directness, as you can imagine. This is definitely an album for winners and not losers. Have you heard the album yet? What are your thoughts on it? Favourite track? Overall opinion of Iggy Pop performing at 75? I have to be honest, I liked it. It's as simple as that. I've found myself, I've played it probably about half a dozen times. I'm humming along, I'm tapping. There's bits that have really got stuck straight into my head, and that's always a good sign. And that for me says it's a good album, and I enjoyed listening to it. Whether it's the fact that it's quite short, I just don't know. I enjoyed listening to it, and I think that you guys are going to enjoy it too. But let me know in the comments below exactly what you do feel about it. I'd like to thank you for joining me on episode 1 of this new series of best albums released this week. It'll be something that I'll do each and every week. I'll put a separate playlist together. In the description to the video there will be a link to where you can buy this album from. It's an affiliate link, and also in the description there are ways that you can support the channel. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again next time on the Album Review channel, and it's bye for now.